Have you ever felt stuck? You've been learning English for months, maybe even years. You understand more than before. You can follow most conversations. You've memorized vocabulary lists, passed grammar tests, and even had a few small talk moments that made you proud. But then, you try to speak. Your mind goes blank. The words disappear. Your mouth feels heavy. You think, why? I know this word. I studied it. So why can't I say it now? It's frustrating. You wonder if maybe you're just not talented at languages. You tell yourself you should study more, read more books, watch more videos, listen to more podcasts. And yes, those things help. But maybe deep down, you feel like something is missing. What if the missing piece isn't learning more? What if the best way to improve your English is to start using what you already know? Not just by speaking to yourself, not just by answering the teacher in class, but by sharing your English with someone else, by teaching. Yes, teaching. Even if you're not fluent, even if you still make mistakes. Because when you teach, you do more than give information. You think in English. You explain ideas simply. You practice speaking naturally. And without even realizing it, you learn faster. In today's episode, we'll explore why teaching your peers, your friends, classmates, even family, could be the key to unlocking your confidence. So if you've ever thought, I'm not ready to help someone else, stay with me, because maybe you're more ready than you think. Let me tell you about Amir. Amir grew up in Jordan. 2 years ago, he moved to Canada with a suitcase, a dream, and very basic English. At the beginning, every conversation felt like climbing a mountain. Ordering food, terrifying. Asking for directions, stressful. Meeting new people, almost impossible. But Amir was determined. He joined an English class, listened to podcasts on the bus, and practiced late at night after work. Slowly, he began to understand more. He could follow movies without reading subtitles all the time. He could talk about his day with classmates. After a year, Amir reached an intermediate level. He thought, I've improved, but I still feel nervous when I speak. One evening, his teacher mentioned that the local community center was looking for volunteers to help beginner English learners. Amir's first thought was, not me. I'm not a teacher. I still make mistakes. But the idea stayed in his mind. He remembered how lonely he had felt when he first arrived, how much he had wished for someone to guide him. So, with shaking hands, Amir signed up. Every Saturday morning, he sat with a small group of new arrivals. Some didn't know how to say hello yet. Others were learning numbers and colors. At first, Amir felt awkward. He worried about explaining something wrong. Sometimes he had to pause, think, and check his own words. But slowly, something shifted. When Amir explained a word, he remembered it better himself. When a student asked a grammar question, Amir's brain worked harder to find the answer. And it stuck. When he repeated simple sentences again and again, they began to flow naturally in his own speech. The beginners smiled at him. They thanked him. "You make English easy," they said. One day, as Amir was walking home from the community center, he realized something incredible. He had spoken English for 2 hours straight, without fear, without freezing, without translating in his head. He felt proud, not just because he was helping others, but because teaching had helped him more than he ever expected. From that day on, Amir no longer thought of himself only as a learner. He was also a guide, a supporter, a bridge for others. Amir's story isn't special because he's gifted or lucky. It's special because he took a step that most learners never think about. He turned what he already knew into a gift for someone else. And that gift came back to him as confidence, fluency, and pride. Maybe your story could be like that too. So, what exactly happened to Amir? Why did his English suddenly grow faster when he started teaching? Well, the answer isn't magic. It's something researchers and language teachers have known for a long time. When you explain something to someone else, you learn it more deeply yourself. There's even a name for this: the protege effect. It's the idea that we work harder, remember better, and perform more confidently when we know someone else is counting on us to explain something. Let's break down why teaching works so well and how you can use it in your own learning journey. 1. Teaching forces you to explain clearly. When you know something in your own mind, it feels easy, until you have to explain it to someone else. Think about it. You can read about the difference between since and for in grammar books. You might even understand it. But if your friend asks, "What's the difference?" suddenly you have to find words, examples, and ways to make it simple. This process makes you think about the language in a deeper way. You're not just memorizing, you're building a clear picture in your mind. And once you've explained it well, you'll remember it longer. 2. Teaching makes you notice your own mistakes. When you speak to beginners, you hear yourself more carefully. You become aware of your grammar, your pronunciation, your sentence structure. Amir told me that while helping beginners, he sometimes caught himself saying something that didn't sound quite right, and he corrected himself on the spot. You see, teaching isn't just about giving knowledge, it's also about listening to yourself, and that self-awareness is one of the fastest ways to improve. 3. Teaching builds your confidence. One of the biggest challenges for English learners is fear. Fear of mistakes, fear of judgment, fear of not being understood. But when you teach, something changes. People are looking to you for help. You're in a position of giving, not just receiving. When your student smiles and says, "Oh, now I understand," you feel capable. And confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Amir said that after a few weeks he began speaking in a louder, clearer voice, not just at the community center, but also at work and in daily life. 4. Teaching gives you natural speaking practice. Let's be honest, practicing English in a natural way can be hard. You can talk to yourself in the mirror or speak into your phone, but it's not quite the same as having a real conversation. Teaching changes that. When you explain something to someone, you have to think on your feet, respond to questions, and adapt your words. It's real speaking, with real purpose. Even if your student is a beginner, you're still using English in a dynamic, flexible way. That's exactly the kind of practice you need to become fluent. 5. Teaching keeps you motivated. Language learning can be lonely. There are days when you don't feel like studying and progress feels slow. But when you know that someone is waiting for you to teach them something, you show up, you prepare, you want to do your best, not just for yourself, but for them. This sense of responsibility pushes you forward, even on days when you'd rather do nothing. Now, I can almost hear what you're thinking. But I'm not a teacher. I'm still making mistakes. Who am I to teach someone else? Here's the truth. You don't have to be a professional. You don't have to know everything. If you are one step ahead of someone, you can guide them to that step. That's it. Think of it like climbing a mountain. You don't need to be at the top to help someone. You just need to be far enough ahead to reach back and take their hand. Practical ways. You can teach as a learner. You don't have to stand in front of a classroom to teach. You can start small in ways that feel natural. Help a classmate with homework. Sit together, go over the answers, and explain why something is correct. Start a word of the day exchange. Share one English word with a friend each day. You explain it. Tomorrow they explain one to you. Answer questions in online forums. Platforms like Facebook groups, Reddit, or language exchange apps are full of learners asking questions. Choose one and try to answer it. Teach a younger sibling or cousin. Kids love learning from older family members, and explaining something simply to a child makes you really understand it. Record short teaching videos. You don't even have to post them publicly. Just pretend you're explaining something to someone who's watching. But what if I make mistakes while teaching? You will make mistakes. Everyone does, even native speakers. The important thing is to treat mistakes as part of the learning process, not as proof that you can't teach. When Amir wasn't sure about something, he'd say, "Let's check together," and they'd look it up in a dictionary or grammar book. This way, teaching became a shared journey, not a performance. Teaching is powerful because it's active. You're not just absorbing language, you're using it, shaping it, giving it away. And here's the beautiful secret. The more you give, the more you get back. When Amir walked into that community center the first time, he thought he was there to help others. He didn't realize that he was also stepping into the most effective English lesson of his life. Maybe you're ready to take your own first step, not because you're perfect, but because you've already come far enough to light the path for someone else. And in doing so, you might just discover that you've been carrying the key to your own fluency all along. Before we close today's episode, let's pause and shine a little light on some key words and phrases we've been using. I don't want you to just hear these words. I want you to picture them, feel them, and use them in your own life. Because vocabulary isn't just something you store in your brain. It's something you carry into conversations, like tools in a backpack. Here are 5 powerful ones from today. 1. The missing piece. This means the last part you need to complete something. Imagine a puzzle. You have almost all the pieces, but there's one little space empty. That's the missing piece. Example in context. I could understand grammar, but speaking confidently was the missing piece. Think of your English journey. What's your missing piece right now? Is it listening? Speaking? Confidence? 2. Unlock your potential. To unlock something is to open it. Your potential is your hidden ability, what you could do if you tried. So when you unlock your potential, you finally start using all the skills and power you already have inside. Example: helping others unlocked my potential to speak without fear. It's like having a door in your mind. The skills are there. You just need the right key. 3. Teach to learn. A simple phrase, but with big meaning. When you teach something, you remember and understand it more yourself. Example: I teach to learn. Every time I explain a word, it becomes part of my English. This is exactly what happened to Amir. He wasn't teaching because he knew everything. He was teaching because it was the fastest way to learn more. 4. Imposter syndrome. This is a feeling, not a fact. It's when you think, I'm not good enough, even though you are. Many learners feel imposter syndrome when speaking English. Who am I to give advice? My English isn't perfect. Example: at first, Amir had imposter syndrome. He doubted himself. But the more he taught, the more confident he became. 5. Step out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is the space where you feel safe and relaxed. To step out means to do something new, scary, or challenging. It's uncomfortable at first, but it's where growth happens. Example: teaching made me step out of my comfort zone, and that's how I grew. Here's my challenge for you. Pick one of these phrases today and use it in a real sentence. Say it to a friend, write it in your journal, or post it online, because words are just decorations in your mind. Until you take them out and let them live in your world. I want you to take a deep breath right now. Think about where you were the day you started learning English. Maybe you knew only hello and thank you. Maybe you couldn't understand a single sentence in a movie. Maybe you were too shy to even try speaking. And now, look at you. You understand this podcast. You can follow a story in another language. You've built something from nothing, and that is not small. But here's what I've learned, and what Amir's story proves. You don't have to wait to feel perfect before you can help someone else. We often imagine confidence as something we get after we've achieved our goal. We think, when my English is perfect, I'll speak. When I feel ready, I'll teach. But the truth is, confidence grows because you start before you feel ready. When Amir walked into that community center for the first time, his hands were shaking, his heart was loud in his chest. But he stayed. He spoke. And little by little, his fear became pride. That's the gift of teaching. You don't just give knowledge. You give yourself a chance to grow in ways that studying alone can't give you. So here's my reminder to you. You don't have to know everything to help someone. You don't need perfect grammar to explain an idea. You are already one step ahead of someone, and that step is enough to guide them forward. Maybe today, instead of just thinking about your own learning, you'll share something with someone else. A word, a phrase, a tip. And maybe that small act will be the moment you start unlocking the version of yourself you've been waiting to meet. You're more ready than you think. Before we say goodbye today, I want to leave you with something small and powerful. A challenge. Today, not tomorrow, not when you have time. Today, I want you to teach one thing you know in English to someone else. It could be your friend, your classmate, your younger brother or sister, even a stranger online. It could be as simple as showing them the meaning of the missing piece, or explaining the difference between since and for, or teaching them how to say, "How are you?" naturally. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be long. It just has to be yours, your knowledge, your words, your effort. Because when you give that small piece away, you're not losing it. You're planting it. And every time you plant a piece of English in someone else's mind, it grows in yours too. If you want to take this deeper, I've prepared a free PDF for you. It includes today's story about Amir, all the vocabulary we covered, and a journaling prompt to help you reflect. You can find the link in the episode description. And if you know another English learner who's been feeling stuck, maybe send them this episode. Who knows? You might be giving them the push they need to take their first step into teaching and into their own confidence. Remember, you're not just a learner. You're a guide, a helper, and maybe the teacher someone else has been waiting for. Until next time, keep going, keep growing, and keep sharing what you know.